So great. So the recording has been started. As I was saying, the main purpose is to manipulate the SQL Server for first use. We are going to create a database, users, login credentials. Then after, we are going to map roles and features to each user. And we see the instances to connect to different instances from within the SQL Server. As per the guide we are having enough, just I'm going to pass through. This is the main purpose of this process. Remember, as per the first unit we were discussing, actually, the main, the first security approach that we learned behind securing a database, and as per our server, which is SQL Server, we have a fold approach. We are having actually 4 steps in order to reach the objects, usually. So we are making a physical security to reach all the resources. Usually we are having the first layer that holds the server. The second layer is the database itself. Our server actually is the SQL Server. The DBMS, we are managing the SQL Server. The databases we are going to create is the second layer. And from within the database, we are going to create schemas, usually to work with. And those schemas, they are groups that hold objects. The objects are actually tables or procedures or sub-procedures or things like that. So server is the green circle, the database is the violet circle, the blue is the schema, and the objects, they are the red dots here inside. Usually it's like that. So to reach the objects, you have to pass those through those layers in order to reach the objects. Otherwise, you'll be blocked. So each layer has its specificity and its security approach, security measures. So this is the first security view that we learned in theory, and even in practical, we are going to go through this path usually. So we are segregating the work in order to secure. Whenever we want to make a first piece, so we have to go through the policies in order to reach our goal. Otherwise, we will be blocked. And this is a security measure. Good. The task number 1 is asking us to create actually, to manipulate actually the access. We are going to refer to our credentials in order to access the SQL Server. More than that, we are going to, let's go step by step. So task number 1, we are going to use the SQL Server to connect using different credentials. No more, no less. Our agent for the access is the SSMS, not the SSDT, like the theory, but not use the SSMS. It's the same. It has the same capabilities. Let's do so. I want to swap my view. I want to swap my view to something different, to full screen, let's say. Okay. Are you able to see my screen, please?
Yes, Doctor.
So great. This is great, actually. Okay, from this start now, I'm going to start with the SSMS. I'm going to search for the SSMS. I'm going to call the SSMS, the SQL Server Management Studio. And I'm going to start it. So this is the one I'm going to start. I'm going to launch the SQL Server from there. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Actually, the access window here, it gives us the chance to choose the server, which server we are going to log into. The server. We are having one server only installed on this machine. If I browse, even I will find only one. Only one here is installed. So that's the one we are going to use. It is already selected, highlighted. Okay. And the authentication mechanism. Whether we are going to use the Windows-based authentication. The Windows-based actually is the one mentioned here. If I choose this option, it is written here. Actually, it's my username within the domain I'm connected to, which is Unis, and I'm Murad. You'll have your own name in your computer, localhost, something like that. Let me try that. Actually, later on we'll try the second one. But let me try logging in using this username. Just let's do. Okay, I've been logged in. I had an instance here of the SQL Server with the username Murad. That's great. Can I see the database? Yeah, the available database for the user Murad, they are visible here. Whatever I am allowed to see, I will see. I can have other functionalities to do. But before we dig in the functionalities and what we can do here inside the database, we're going to log in differently now. Let's log in again for another instance. I'm going to log out. I'm going to log out this Murad. From the options, I can do right-click on this one or this one. This connection, log out button. I'm going to right-click on this instance here on the Murad, right-click, and disconnect. Great, I'm out. I'm going to connect again. Release the button, click it, and I'm going to connect using the SQL authentication, SQL authentication. So what is the SQL? Actually, we have the user that is coming from, which is the SA, system admin, SA. The user, actually, it has a password, which is the one the password we used while installing, the one that I told you to type when in the mixed mode, in the installation step, you choose the mixed mode and you type the password. That's the password we require here. I'm going to type it again here. I'm going to type it here. There's a problem in my computer. Yes, I'm logged in. I'm logged in. So I am as an SA. I am as a system admin. I'm the administrator now. I'm having all the functionalities that this SQL Server can give. So I am logged in as an administrator. Great. That's wonderful. That's perfectly great. See databases? Yes, all of them. Actually, for the system admin, we are able to see all the database of all users here. We can control the roles, features, and mappings related to users and related to objects inside the databases, inside the server, within those databases available here. Because we are having the full and the totality of the privileges that can be assigned to a user. System admin. Great. I'll keep this system admin logged in, and I'll try to log in with another instance, with another SQL Server instance. Means I have an instance here. This is an instance. See here? This is an instance. I'm going to log in with a different user and with a second instance here. I'm going to log in with a second instance. So I'm not going to disconnect this SA. No, I'll keep it. And I connect again. I'll immediately click the log in here, the connection button here, this one. Click it. And I'm going to type, I'm not going to type. I'm going to choose Windows Authentication. And connect. Here it is. I had a second instance. Are you able to see my screen, please? Is it visible to you?
Yes, Mr.
Whatever. Yes, great. Okay. Okay, here. So I have two instances here, but I was logged in last as Murad. So I am acting as Murad. I can see all the instances, yes, but I am logged in as Murad. Remember that. Great. So I'll return back to log in as a system admin to activate my account, to activate my privilege. So I'm going to log in, Windows Authentication, sorry, SQL Server Authentication, SA, my password, I'm logged in, highlighted. So I am SA. Okay, that's great. So now you are able to log in and to map, not to map, but actually to log in and generate instance connections to different instances at the same time. This is a live database. See the icon. This is a live database. See the icon. You remember this morning we saw in theory the icon of a local database. It's not the same. So this is a live database with the green and with the yellow disk. Regardless. So as SA, when we log in as SA, we are going to create a new user to access. Here, I'm going to generate a new user. I'll stop at this level because we have actually the guide number 2 to generate users. So I'll stop at this level. So I'm going to pass to task number 2. Immediately, let's dig into task number 2. Great. Without failure. So here we are going to this is what we did exactly. What we are going to do, let's create a database. Let's create a database. Here I'm going to just suggest a name, and we are going to use the task number 3 later. So as SA, I'm going to create a database and name student on database side, new database, right click, new database, and give it the name student. Wait, student. I'm not going to modify anything, just press OK. Here it is. Here it came here. Here it is. Can I create tables inside? Yes. I'm going to open. I have no tables. Any I do not have. It's still new. On the tables hive here, I'm going to create a new table. I'm going to say students also. I'm going to say students. I'm going to say majors. I'm going to say majors. Okay. Now I'm going to say registered students. New table. New table. I'm going to give the STD ID. It's an int. I'm going to say STD name. It's a varchar. Varchar, okay. I'm going to say STD major. Okay. Also, it's a varchar. I'm going to say STD contact. Contact. I'm going to say also varchar because it holds the signs of plus and so on like that. Great. I'm going to say email. STD email. It's a varchar, absolutely. But varchar 100. Varchar 100. Size, at least me at half, 100 characters. Good. Here is STD. STD at the beginning. Yes, great. I want to say address. STD address. Okay, it's a varchar also, but I'm going to say 200 varchar. Size is 200. The address is a little bit long. Okay. The name of the table I'm going to save. And I'm going to give it the name STD registration, or registered users. So registered students. Registered students. It has disconnected. I'm sorry for that. Are you still seeing my screen, please? My registered students table is.
Mr. Open Voice.
I'm sorry, actually. Can you hear me now? Is it hearable now?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
great, great, great. So I was saying that this database actually it is mapped to the user Murad. We are not able to open it as SA. Why? Because this SA does not have the role to do that. We will solve this problem, how to do it, how to make this SA have the role to open Murad's database next lab, inshallah. But for now, I created this table number one. I changed the name to registered students. And I filled the one record, only one record, using what? The table designer. Right clicked, edit top 200 rows. Great. So I'm going to close this thing. I'm going to close it. I'll check if it has been saved or not. Right click again, edit top 200 rows. Here it is still. It's available still. So saved. I'm going to close. Okay. I'm going to now insert a second record, but using the command prompt. So we are going to use query builder. Here it is. Query builder, query editor, new query. I'm going to specify that I'm going to work with this database, which is the student database. I'm going to say use student. Here it appeared. I choose go. Okay, I'm going to highlight all, highlight, execute. Succeeded. And this is the database we are choosing. Okay, succeeded. Let's pass. Before I insert the second row, I'm going to check the first row. I'm going to just select everything. Does it have a value, this thing? I should select everything from what? Registered. I'm going to say registered. Here it is. Choose it. Semicolon. Enter. Select. Highlight. Sorry. Execute. Yes, here it is. Here is the values. Here are the values. Yeah, they are available here. Great. So let's insert a new record. Insert into registered. Let's say here is the table. Values. Okay, I'm going to open the parenthesis. Okay, the first value is the SED ID, the ID. So the ID, I'm going to give the second ID, number 2. Then the SED name, I'm going to give the second name. I'm going to say in between single quotations. I'm going to say, for example, Fatma. Any name, single quotations. It has to be single quotations. Why? Because you remember the data type we did, Vacha, comma, next field, major. I'm going to say IS between single quotations. Okay. Yeah. Single quotations, yes, comma. Then the next value, contact. We chosen to be Vacha. Also, I'm going to give it a single quotation. I'm going to say plus 96899995555, whatever. Semicolon. Next value, which is the email, single quotation. Also, I'm going to say Fatma at fatma.com. Single quotation, comma, next value. SED address. I'm going to give, it is also in Varcha, so single quotation. Also, I'm going to say Muscat. Come on, any values. Single quotation. Then I'm going to close. The parenthesis. Which parenthesis? The one we opened here. I closed here. Semicolon. Select now. Highlight. And execute. One row affected. What does it mean? It means it has been inserted. Means now if I execute this select again, I highlight. The same we wrote earlier, and execute again. We find both Murad, Fatma. 1, 2, cybersecurity IS. They are available here, all of them. You need to verify. So actually, now we are able to manipulate. We know how to manipulate this SQL Server in 2 different ways using the query editor and the table designer. We are able to do that. Let's begin the next request from our task. Okay, let's move to the task 3. Let's move to task 3. Okay, let's move to task number 3. We are required to create a database named students. We did already, but we are required to create those tables, those entities. Student names, subjects, departments. Let's do that. Let's start with the student names. So, right-click on tables, new table, SID is an int. Then name, here it is, name. Then last name, then major. Name is Vacha. Last name is Charles. Major is Charles. Then semester registration, email, mobile number. All of them they are Vacha. Semester registration, Vacha, email, it's Vacha. What else we said? Mobile number. Here also it's about chat because we are using the plus for the international numbers. I'm going to save. So student registration here. The name is student name. Sorry, student names. Student names. Plural. Okay, it's done. Has been saved. I'm going to close. I come back. Next entity, subjects in plural. So right click, new table. I'm going to say sub ID. It's an int also here. I'm going to say subname instructor. Subname. Is Vacha. Instructor is a varchars. Okay. Depth ID, it's an int. That's it. Department ID. Yep. This is a foreign key. This is a foreign key. It's an int. That's it. I'm going to save. Yes, I'm going to save. What is the name? Subjects. The name is subjects. Great. Done. I close. So we have the depth ID here. The depth ID, it's a foreign key. Why? Because it's a primary key here in the next entity in the next table departments. It's a primary key here. So where we did it was a foreign key. Let's create the third entity now, the departments. Let's create the third entity now, the departments. Okay, a new table designer, new table. I'm going to say depth ID, it's an int. This is the primary key now. Then depth name, HOD, depth name, it's a varchar, HOD, it's a varchars. Then SID, this is actually foreign key because it is a primary key here. So this is another foreign key here, SID. We are having the relationship. SID, which is an int. Great. Done. Anything else? No, that's it. That's it. So let's save. And give it the name departments. Done. Saved. I close. They are not available. Refresh the tables here. Here they are. Departments, registration students is the old one. Student names and subjects. Student names, subjects, and departments. Those are the next three, the new three entities required to create. They required us to create here. That's great. We did that. So okay, I'm going to log in as, I'm going to keep everything like it is, but I'm going to log in as Murad now. I'm going to log in as Murad. See here, if I refresh everything, the database here, it's available student, but can I open it? No. I'm going to log in as Murad. So here, Windows Authentication, connect, and let's see again what would happen. Refresh everything again. Let's open the databases here, students. Still, I'm not able to access the thing. Actually, this database students is not accessible. Regardless, this issue, I don't want to waste time in this matter of the mapping and the roles given, because we are having a full lab next time to map users. Again, I'm going to come back to SA only, and I keep working here only, just to show you one last hint before I give you the code. So, SQL Server, my password, SQL Server, SQL. Okay. I have an error. What is my password? Can you tell me what is my password? I found it. Good. I'm in as SA again. Again. So just one last hint before I move, because it's asking us to create a schema and yes, whatever. That's it. That's all what we need today. Just before I move, just users here. We are having SA and Murad. How to get extra users? How to create next users? Actually, we have the security hive. We have a database security hive that we can use to control the database itself. And then after, we are having a server security hive to control the server. I repeat, we are having a database level security and a server level security. So we want to control the server, this SQL instance here, SQL. We have its own security. So this security here, see this security here, it belongs to whom? To the server. Here is the server. Yes, this security belongs to the server. Yeah. Okay, what are the databases? Here they are. Those are the databases. This is the database created now. It is inside the database that they are inside the server. So level 1, level 2, level 3, In here, we have another security level. Security here. This is another security. The security here, it belongs to whom? Here, to the database. The one we created now actually is the students. Conclusion. We are having two different security approaches. One related to the database in question, and one related to the server connected to, which you are connected to. Full stop. We use them for what? We see that later. But what concerns the security server side, we are actually going to focus more on the logins. Why? Because we are going to create users. We are going to create users here at this level only. I'll stop the recording now, and I'll give you the record to do the same practice. I need to see an output in addition to a comment or just a phrase summarizing what was the purpose of this small practice.